Hi everybody and welcome to the XYZ of Betting. I've got Shakes Rampedi, Oliver Keohane, Money Boy, and myself, Kevin Ferguson, or MoneyMan. What a December. COVID, we've got the African Cup of Nations going on, which is also disrupting the Premier League. We've got Arsenal with Aubameyang, who pretty much after his latest controversy at the African Cup of Nations, I don't know what the future holds for him, if any, at Arsenal. And we've got Man City that, it wouldn't surprise me if Paddy Power pays out on them winning they've won 12 Premier League games in a row without a striker, or with just a lone striker. And I picked Chelsea at the beginning of the year. Apologies for anybody that bet on that. You picked Liverpool.
I picked Liverpool.
You apologize for anybody that bet on that. And Shakes, who did you pick?
I went with Manchester City.
Shakes, you're at 66 wins, prediction wins. I've got 61 and Ollie's got 58. Well, we all knew that Ollie was going to be sucking the hind tit as we get into the season. But I never expected you to have such a big lead. To say I have you exactly where I want you right now. Firmly in my view,
Amazing. Look, it's gonna be that way probably till the end of the season.
Well done, bud. Well done. Impressive. Especially with the tricky, fixtures becoming trickier with COVID. I mean, it's been a very competitive year in the Premier League, and let's get into the games. We can't guarantee. One of the things is be careful out there if you're betting on these games. You've got to wait pretty much 24 hours before the game starts to see if anybody else has been affected with this Omicron virus. And because it's in all sports across the world, NFL, hockey, basketball, you're seeing massive amounts of players missing games and in isolation protocol. It's great that the CDC has now gone from 10 days isolation to 5, which has confused the world. I continue to be confused by why we have no fans in our stadiums, whether it be rugby, cricket, but we can have 40,000 people on a beach, lathering each other up with oil, sharing drinks, getting drunk, making out. But, if you want to go and watch a cricket game so an appeal to the president and the sports minister, please, guys, get some scientific perspective on this, We promise we won't pass around rotisserie chickens when we get there or share blunts. It'd be nice if we could just have some fans in the stadiums.
It'd be nice to share blunts at Newland Stadium.
I don't want to get a call from your mum after this. I don't even know what a blunt is, but hopefully some common sense will start to come into it, because rugby for me, I know this is a soccer show, but rugby for me has been so disrupted.
Yeah.
We came out of Super Rugby. We haven't had a run up of any sort of competition. We've had Groundhog Day with Curry Cup. We're now in the Curry Cup again. A watered down version of the Curry Cup, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It'd be just nice to get some normality back and people enjoying sports. Sports is such a unifier of people, and we really need it. And there's absolutely, it is asinine, stupid, moronic to have no fans at stadiums.
Yeah.
There could easily be 10, 12,000 fans watching India versus South Africa right now, and South Africa has the good news in sport is we won the series. We've got off to a 1-0 victory in the ODI, and there's nobody there to celebrate it.
Yeah,
it's
very depressing.
Yeah,
2 years after.
It's crazy, and we're still in still in a state of emergency. Why? This has got to end. The madness has to end. Saying that, let's get back into the madness of the Premier League. Sorry for my rant. Not Arsenal. Norwich versus Watford?
Indeed. Thriller of the weekend.
Yeah, Watford at home.
Does that matter?
I think it does.
Maybe it does, actually.
Okay. All I see is they haven't won a game in 10, or in 9 games. They've drawn 1, lost 8. They've got decent players out to the African Cup of Nations. If there's a team that is in worse form than them, I would love to meet them, because there isn't. They are the worst performing team in the last month in the Premier League and across all competitions?
Look, I'm just looking at the injury list now, or the people that aren't able to play through injury and then through AFCON selection, and it's pretty damning. It's a pretty damning list for Watford. So to sort of retract the...
Well, they've got 3 guys out on national selection.
5 guys out on injuries.
5 guys out on injuries. You got a Norwich team that is showing a bit of fight, eh?
Yeah, so I retract the statement about Watford at home, actually. I think this has got to be Norwich.
Look, this is going to be a very interesting game for the spectator. Usually I would not watch a game like this, but you can have a desperate Watford against these teams are desperate.
I'm going to go 1-0.
These teams are like that girl or guy at 2 a.m. that haven't had a look in, they haven't had a dance. People are going home. It's desperation time. Something's got to give.
What do you think? What's giving?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think obviously it's going to be 2 teams that are very desperate. One thing I did notice though was when Watford actually played Newcastle, 2 teams that were they're fighting sort of that relegation fight, and it seemed like they were both nervous. And I think even within this game as well, there's going to be a lot of nerves. No one's going to want to make mistakes, and it could really go any way. It could be Watford win, it could be a Norwich win. But I think I'm on the side of Watford. I think they might be able to pull something out of this one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Shakes?
What are you saying, Shakes? Don't be ambiguous.
Yeah, I'm thinking Watford wins this one 2-1. Yeah, I think they win this one 2-1. I think they've got more game winners within their side versus what Norwich have in their side. I think Norwich are a better team, but I think Watford have better individual brilliance, and I think that's going to pull them through just.
I'm going to say 1-0 to Norwich.
Well, a win by Norwich would take them out of the relegation zone. And who's managing there? Is it Dean Smith that's managing them? Who's the guy?
Smith, yeah.
Dean Smith. He was fired by
Aston Villa.
He's fired by Villa. Now he's weaving his magic, or doing a much better job than the previous guy. You're not going to see a glorious game of football, but you might see some mongrel in these teams. And if Norwich win, they'll be out of relegation zone for the first time since the beginning of the season. Well, before the season kicked off.
What a weekend it could be.
Yeah. Ollie's got Norwich, you've got Watford. I'm going to go for the draw. I think that these teams, like you say, are you going to play to win or are you going to play not to lose? And there's a difference in that style. And I just think that Watford, it's whoever scores the first goal are going to defend and try and take those points and not go on an attack. So whoever gets the first goal, if there is one, invites that on them, and I think there's going to be a late equalizer or something like that that'll change up. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between these 2 teams.
Well, one of us is going to be right.
One of us will be right. That's tomorrow night, and then we have Everton versus Aston Villa. Stevie G winless in 4 games. Came in with a bang. They have played some tough teams like, Man United's not tough. They've played Chelsea, Brentford, but they haven't done well, eh?
They haven't done, great, but you do get the sense that it's just like, it's a construction process at the moment, Coutinho, obviously, fantastic against United, great to see that, and I feel like, things are building in the direction that they're going to start getting some decent run of results.
Can they do it against Everton, who have, who right now, as we speak, don't have a lot of COVID cases, if any. They don't have any. They've got Richarlison back.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see another 2-2 draw.
No.
Similar type of results to the United game.
Well, the funny thing is that I actually think I would have went Aston Villa straight win, comfortably. The only problem is now is that Rafa Benitez has just been sacked by Everton. So that could just change everything. Like Duncan Ferguson could get the place buzzing again. And
Yeah, you remember the time he took over? Remember when Ferguson took over that game? It was who were they playing? They were playing a top club, weren't they?
yeah, when Duncan Ferguson took over, he actually played United. He drew against them. He beat Chelsea as well, and he got a few results as well. And that's what changes everything. If Robert Benitez was still there, I would have said Villa win straight. But now with him gone, I think I'll probably say I think Aston Villa have got too much quality, so I will go with the draw, a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I'm with you, Shakes. I like a draw in this game as well. I think it'll be a good result for Aston Villa, with three of their players on two of their players on national duty. You know, they're not fully healthy. They'll do well to get a draw there, and I think that's what they'll target. I'm going to go 1-1 at Everton, Aston Villa. Ollie?
Yeah, I'm also 2-2. So we're all in agreement here.
2-2. Okay, wow. Alrighty. And then we have Brentford versus Wolves. Is there a better team? Well, besides Man City, is there a better team in form over the last 5 games than Brentford than Wolves?
I don't think so. I honestly don't. I think Wolves for me has been one of the most impressive sides. We're talking about a team that has 4 clean sheets in the last 5 games.
Yeah, only conceded 1 goal.
Yeah, only conceded 1 goal as well, and Adama Traore is now getting in on the score sheet now at this current stage. And I think also I've been really impressed with their goalkeeper, Jose Sa, and also as well as Bruno Lage deserves a lot of respect from what he's taken over from Nuno and how he has them playing as well. And from Brentford's side, the way that they played against Manchester United, just not being able to take their chances. And it's the same thing you saw even against Liverpool as well, not being able to take their chances. Southampton too. And I think you're about to see a same story where Brentford creates all these chances and they don't take them. And I think Wolves punishes them. And I probably would say Wolves win this one comfortably, 3-1.
Wow.
Yeah, Shakes, I also think like...
I'm used to your ball slapping down on the table. Hey, Shakes? Boom. Look, you can't argue with the Wolves. They're in such a great run of form, and it's not as if they've been playing patsies either. You know, they've had some good, solid results. Brentford, you know, I think that we'll see them drop off a bit in the second half of the year, sort of comfortably, because to survive this year, you're going to need less points than you've ever needed in the Premier League because there's such parity. So you got Brentford coming off 3 losses, although 2, Liverpool, Man United, and they lost to Southampton 4-1. And you look at what Wolves did to Southampton; they beat them 3-1. I can't find an argument for anything other than a 2-0, 3-0, Wolves victory here for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, Brentford have been noble in their efforts so far this season. And I think at home, they may be able to sneak a goal in, but I think it'll be a 2-1 win.
Look, if Wolves want to, I mean, what we're seeing is we're seeing Man City run away with it. We're seeing Liverpool, Chelsea that are comfortably in the Champions League places, and then from 4 down to about 8th, I think Wolves are on 31 points if my memory is correct. And if they win, then they've got to win this game to start getting into the mix about a European. 31. They've got to get into the mix. They've got to win this game. So I like a strong Wolves victory. I'm with you on that, Shakes. Let's get on to the next game. My team, Leeds United. Leeds put out a pretty poor team in the FA Cup, which to me signaled that their whole focus is now going to be on staying in the Premier League and solidifying that position. And I was amazed when you consider all the injuries that they still have, how they went to West Ham on the second trip and won 3-2.
Yep.
I predicted that West Ham would win that game. I think 2-0. delighted when I predict Leeds losing and then seeing them win. And at home against Newcastle, I'd fancy Leeds for a 2-1 victory here. They've got enough talent and enough quality in that squad. And Bielsa, I don't care what anybody says. I know every time a team is on a bit of a downturn, the coach always is gaslighted. And Bielsa's a class, and his commitment to training and making players that aren't good better players. That's what he does. So he's still molding that team. Bamford might be playing. I'm not sure. I think he's not confirmed. They have a few other injuries, but they've got enough quality to beat a Newcastle team still, who haven't won in 6 games.
Yeah, Bamford, like you said, questionable, so good chance that he does play.
Yeah.
Leeds also, Leeds have always been able to score goals. That's the thing. We didn't see it for a little bit at the start of the season, but you look now, 3-2 over West Ham, to manage to score
3-1 over Burnley.
3-1 over Burnley, so I'm going to follow the trend, and I think Leeds 3 goals over Newcastle, and they slip 3-1.
What say you?
Yeah, I've been impressed with Leeds. Good thing they got the 2 victories in a row. To stretch the gap regarding the relegation as well.
Well, remember when they lost 7-0 to Man City and then took a 4-1 drubbing from Arsenal, and then they shipped 3 against Chelsea before that. They were not looking good, and I believe that the game they had, which was postponed because of COVID, was Liverpool. So I was relieved with the whole Omicron thing in terms of giving Leeds a bit of a respite, because if they'd have played that game, you just never know in a sliding doors world, a scenario where what would have happened. The pressure would have been starting to mount on Leeds with another loss to Liverpool, would have been licking their chops to play Leeds at that time. So, with that game being avoided, we then played Arsenal, lost there 4-1, and have won 2 out of the last 3, we've won our last 2 Premier League games, which has taken us out of, the relegation talk again for a while.
Look, you win 2 on the trot, and it can't help but just give you confidence, regardless of who you're going in to play. And they're lucky enough to be playing Newcastle, who, like we keep saying, at the moment can't do that much just yet. I see that they are making some good movements. They're apparently interested in Jesse Lingard now as well, and with all that money, they will build a good squad, but the current few weeks in its immediacy,
The problem is going to get players to come and play in Newcastle, It's,
I've heard it's quite a lovely place.
It's a lovely place, but it's north. It's not exactly on the Mediterranean. I love the Geordies. They're a great bunch of people, but it's fucking cold in Newcastle. They've got a great stadium, but who doesn't in the Premier League anymore? I wouldn't. If I was a top class footballer, Newcastle wouldn't be on my destination list. Let's just put it that way.
Shakes, what are you saying for the?
Look, if they're willing to triple my salary, then I think I will make Newcastle a great place to stay at. I'll admit that. But I must say, with regards to Newcastle, though, I think the big advantage for them is the fact that Leeds United just won 2 in a row. And I think Leeds United might be a little bit more relaxed going into this fixture because of the gap.
Even with Bielsa as coach? Have you seen the intensity with Bielsa? Come on.
Regardless if he's coach or not, the mentality. And I think it's going to be a draw. I see a 1-0 draw happening again for Newcastle.
Okay. Well, you are the leader. Hard to argue with the class that you are, Shakes. You've done Betway so proud, man. You're welcome. Next up, we have, the new coach of Manchester United. I can't pronounce his name. What's his name?
Ralph Ragnick.
Ragnick.
Let's call him Ralph.
Let's call him Ralph. Yeah.
Okay, so Ralph's come in. He's replaced Ollie. What's changed? There's still a shit side.
Yeah, it's a sad story of 2022. It's just.
If you're a Man United fan, you've got to be. And I'm not. I never would be. I'm not an idiot. I'm not a dick. I don't think any of us are. But if you're a Man United fan, geez, you've got to be a bit depressed. You're seeing Man City outperforming them on the pitch, performing them in management and administration.
Don't be as depressed as Ronaldo.
You know, why were they allowed to serve those papers or read those papers he's defending in Las Vegas?
It's just a strange. It's a strange dynamic at United, you know, if you look at that quality of player. I mean, you used to say it last year even, and this year you add Varane, you add Ronaldo, you add Sancho to that list of names. And not a hell of a lot changes.
No.
Shakes, I don't know, what do you think? Why?
I think Pogba's been the worst buy they've ever made.
Paul Pogba?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been out for the last month.
No, but I mean before that. I mean,
Pogba was having a decent season.
No, but I mean generally, what's his goal? How many goals has he scored?
Pogba?
Yeah.
I mean, not many.
But he's not supposed to. He's a midfielder, right?
I mean, how many goals has he set up?
Look, he whacked, I think, 4 assists in that first game, which was more than... Look, granted, his 2021 season, I think he got more assists in his first game, Shakes, than the whole of the 2021 season or something.
No, but when you look at how much they paid... When you look... Yeah, but I mean, he's not spectacular. And how much money they pay for him at the time?
No, they paid 89 million, which is a lot.
But these are the same people that paid 60 mil for Harry Maguire, so I feel like...
Well, I mean, that's the essence of Man United, isn't it, in terms of the last 5 years? They've bought terribly.
Yeah.
They haven't, there's no, when you look at the Man United's, that I was in my prime watching is like the Van Nistelrooys, the Cristiano Ronaldos, you know, they had those Wayne Rooneys. They had those big marquee players that...
Well, I think they still have those big marquee players, but it's this weird combination between youth and experience that just doesn't seem to gel.
None of them are in the talk for Footballer of the Year. None of them. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not exporting well to the world. I mean, in terms of, you know, if you're a fan that's 5 or 6 and you're looking to adopt a team, you're not going to adopt a Man United. You know, you're going to adopt a Man City. If you know, unless your dad beats you into submission and you have to follow Man. But it's like they don't have any. They don't have any marketable players. You know?
Where do you think the problem lies, Shakes?
Yeah, look, I think they've bought over the years. Their recruitment could have been better. That's for sure. I think there's a whole lot of structure at the top that needs to be changing as well. And I think also what you're starting to see now is that there's a mentality that Ole put into the team that where you start to think they're better than what they actually are, and they're not necessarily that much. And Ralph has come in. And he's trying to change the culture. He's trying to change even the way that they're trying to play. And I guess for me, what I've noticed a lot from Manchester United is the players think they think they're made of champagne or something.
Yeah.
I think they think they've achieved more than what they actually have.
Would you buy a jersey? Would you buy a jersey with any Man United name on it? Any Man United player name?
No, I wouldn't. There's only one player I probably would do that, but that's Ronaldo. But that's because of his career that he's shown us. But the current crop, I possibly would not do it at all. And even last night, Elanga scored for Manchester United. But you think to yourself, even with Elanga scoring his goal, firstly goal for United, young player. I mean, you got excited when you saw Rashford. Look what's happened to him. You got excited when you saw Greenwood. Look what's happened to him. Januzaj, look what's happened to him. Makeda, look what's happened to him. You know, Pogba, there's just so many times where these young players even come in and I don't know, maybe they think they've achieved a lot, but they haven't necessarily. I think an overhaul needs to happen within that squad. And I think the opportunity is there because there's a lot of contracts coming up to an end. Matic could be going, Pogba as well. Like, I think maybe do not renew and just start all over, guys.
No, but isn't Ralph only there on a short-term tenure?
Yeah, so he's...
So, I mean, what does that tell you? How do you start a rebuild? How do you start a rebuild with an interim manager? Yeah. I mean, it's just absolute. Man United are shambles. Shambolic is the only way I can look at it.
Well, the plan with Ralph was he comes in, he finishes the season, and then he becomes the technical director for 2 years. But he also did say that he might suggest that he becomes the manager for the following season. So we don't know what's going on.
So he might hire himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll come in for his. I'll come in. It's a great gig, but I mean, if I'm a Man United fan, I know how passionate they are, and to be living in Manchester with a team that's just blowing up, they're superb. They've got the right manager. They've got the right players. They got a great stadium. I mean. Man City is casting a massive shadow, which Man United are going to find it almost impossible to get out of, unless you, like you say, Shakes, they have a massive overhaul there. You can't have an interim manager for the next, you've got 5-6 months left to go. So that signals to me that there is no plan in place. And if I'm a Man United fan, I'm paying that money to go and watch those games. I want a fucking plan in place now.
Yeah.
Not 6 months' time. They deserve that as fans. I've never seen anything from a top club as shambolic as Man United, and it's even worse because Man United are one of the prized assets in football in Europe. For the owners to be going along with no plan, or I don't know, they've probably got a plan, but you don't have a plan if you've got an interim manager.
It's like what Shakes is saying, the poison just runs from the top down. It's like as much as there's issues within the team and players, it's like from administration to then recruitment of coaches, managers. Down to the team dynamic. It's just sort of the rot starts.
But it also, Ollie, it started
a
long time ago. With Mourinho's with David Moyes' selection, to Mourinho's selection, to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I think Giggs was interim manager at one stage.
Was he?
Was Giggs an interim manager there?
Yeah, Giggs.
Yeah, so Moyes. So then you had Giggs, then you had Mourinho, then you had Solskjaer, now you have Ralph. The last famous Ralph I know was on Wreck-It Ralph. I used to watch my kid, and they are wrecking it at Manchester United. They are not going to qualify for Europe this year.
I think they will, actually. And I think they will because it's the experience that they have. I think they're going to have moments where they don't play well, but they're able to sort of win games. I think Brentford last night was the perfect example. De Gea makes saves left, right, and center, and then before you know it, Bruno nicks one, and Ronaldo does this, and they're going to be doing that quite a lot. Not playing well, but somehow getting the result for some reason.
That was the case against West Ham last time with Ronaldo and Jesse Lingard then coming on and pinging one in against his old lone team. What do you guys sort of think for this result? I mean, it's a great match actually. West Ham.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because you look at the league standings, and you've got fourth v7.
Do you think?
I think
it's always tough with these sort of historical things. If you would say given form, or kind of given the whole season's form, you'd say like West Ham. But then you still have to look at this United squad and be like, Shakes, like you're saying, all it takes is we've seen Ronaldo do it so many times. Exactly. You never know when one of the guys there decides to fire. There's a reason that they paid that much for them, because they've done something in the past.
But they don't play well as a team.
So,
I'm for me, it's a 1-1 draw. I just think again, I think West Ham are quite capable of nicking this match, especially with Pogba, Wan-Bissaka out, and Martial and Ronaldo doubtful and probably not playing. It's Ronaldo's got 8 goals for them, and look how late he came in. I don't care what you say about Ronaldo. He's disruptive. He's this. He's that. He's still got 8 goals. None of the other guys have ponied up and filled the net. So you say what you like about Ronaldo, true professional footballer, and 8 goals is 8 goals.
So you're saying a 1-1 draw?
I'm saying a 1-1 draw, and I hope that West Ham win because I like their football.
Yeah. Shakes?
I think anyone who's watching this video remember these words. West Ham United is going to play very well. West Ham United is going to dominate the game, but Manchester United is going to win the game 2-1.
You're like the Oracle. Eh? You're like who's Lawrence Fishburne in the Matrix.
Shakes.
You take the blue pill or you take the red pill.
Shakes, I could very much see that happening. but I'm still going to back West Ham here and go 2-2.
Well, that's not backing West Ham. That's backing a draw, but
Okay, I'm backing West Ham in the context of what Shake's prediction was.
okay. You know, I can't let a show go by without me taking the piss out
No,
of
you must keep them coming.
Keeping them coming. Keeping it real.
All right, Southampton City, is that worth much?
Well, you know, all you can see is a cloud of 12 wins in a row. You got Southampton that were destroyed by Wolves. Southampton have shown glimpses of improvement, and certainly for me, beating West Ham 3-2 in East London was a shock result. You know, that's one that West Ham let get away.
Yeah.
But saying that, how can you look any further? How can you look any further than a 2-3-0 Man City win here?
Yep, straight 3-0 for me.
Yeah, me too.
They seem to like that score.
For me, I think, you know what's the funny thing is that I think City are definitely going to win this comfortably. I think they're starting to smell that inconsistency that Chelsea and Liverpool are having at the moment within the league. Because even with Liverpool, only 2 wins in their last 5 games within the league. So I just think City can smell that Chelsea and Liverpool are giving it away, and they're just going to just keep munching and munching and munching. And I think Southampton is next.
Yeah, they're like a Pac-Man on that video game that just keeps, you know,
Man.
yeah, eating up the league. And look, we're fair play to them, you know. Much respect for Pep and that team, because at the beginning of the year we talked about, you know, with them signing Grealish, was he the right signing? Should they have gone after Harry Kane? Look at Harry Kane. He's probably having the worst year of his life, and hasn't done his salary negotiations any good this year for sure.
No, exactly.
Let's go Arsenal Burnley. For some reason, you know, Burnley are hopeless. Shakes, if you don't get a 2-0 win here, you guys should just pack it up, pack it in. You know.
Yeah.
I'm also 2-0's my prediction as well.
I think you described that well, Kevin. If we do not win this game, then we can sincerely just pack it up everything. I think you're right. I'm gonna go with also I'll say 3-1 win. I think the game against Liverpool tonight is gonna take a lot out of us a bit. Because it's Carabao Cup action tonight. So I think that's going to take a little bit out. And then Sunday's going to come around. Burnley will find us a little bit tired. We'll have quality 3-1. They score, but we still score 3.
Yeah, and it's a big game. I mean, you got Arsenal sitting 6th. You got West Ham playing Man United 4th versus 7. I think we got Tottenham playing Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken. You know, so you got those teams playing each other, and so you really need to win these games. You know, it's if you don't win it, then like you said, pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin.